Chapter 16. So, 9 is feeling guilty. She has betrayed Flabbergast, but she believes it's the only way she can actually save all of them as a whole, by doing a deal with the witch. So, let's find out. Is she leading them all into danger? Is this somehow all going to work out alright in the end? Chapter 16. It was a nervous cohort of companions that waited by the front door. A skeleton with slumped shoulders and pink fluffy socks, a grumpy gargoyle who still insisted on wearing the oversized hat, a tail-ringing troll who turned and looked at 9 with worried eyes as she came downstairs, and a downcast wizard holding his arm out to the umbrella stand by the front door. The strange blue arm, as always, whizzed out, holding the wizard's cloak. It felt odd and empty without Spoon there, waving his sword and commanding the charge. "Right," said Flabbergast as he opened the front door. "We go to the bookshop. We confront my aunt. We demand the return of Dish and Spoon, our true family." "And we all get turned into stone," muttered Cass. "You're already stone," said 9. "Stonier stone," said Cass. "Friends, this may be our final battle," said Flabbergast solemnly. "A fight we cannot overcome, a battle we cannot win, a destiny we cannot escape. Oh, come on, let's go," snapped 9, and pushed past him. She grabbed Eric's hand and pulled him alongside her. The girl, the wizard, the troll, the gargoyle, and the skeleton all marched across the house park, through the town, until they stood right outside the bookshop. 9 looked around. There was no sign of Ophelia, and no sign of Flabbergast's sister. 9 couldn't decide if this was good news or not. 9 glanced towards the invisible door of the secret shop of secrets. Was the witch in there still, waiting for 9 to keep her part of the arrangement and lead the others in? Into what? A trap? "Bookshop's scary," said Eric, looking at the front door. "Eric is not incorrect," said Flabbergast. "Now listen, I must warn you." "Warn?" 9 narrowed her eyes. "The shopkeeper left suddenly some years ago." "Yes, I know," 9 said impatiently. "Oh," said Flabbergast, looking puzzled. "How did you know that?" 9 kicked herself as she thought of the candle. "Oh, I must have just heard it somewhere. Anyway, why did he leave?" "Well, nobody knows, madam. Most mysterious. A pleasant little fellow, I recall. You see, when you leave the shop, he set up a spell of his image to bid you farewell to all the customers." He frowned. "That particular spell is fine, but heed my warning, madam. He left other spells for the bookshop to keep running in his absence. Regretfully, over time, some of them have become a little lazy and mutated." "Mutated?" said 9, whirling around to face Flabbergast. "Is this bookshop going to try to kill us? This had better not be the wretched library in the house of all over again." "Nonsense, madam," said Flabbergast, but his voice was deadly serious. "To every customer that enters, it tries to sell the perfect book." "And why is that a bad thing?" said 9. "Because, madam," said Flabbergast, "the bookshop is going to try extremely hard." Suddenly, the blind on the door rolled up at the lightning speed, making everyone jump. "We find the books as quickly as we can, then we will be ready to deal with my aunt when she arrives. You must buy the book you are recommended, or we will never ever get out of the shop." "Never ever get out? Oh, and is there no shopkeeper? You must pay the honesty box before you find your box," said Flabbergast, as he handed out some yonders to everybody. "It's gone a little bit rogue. Just grin and bear it." He looked pointedly at 9. "And no arguing." "What do you mean, no arguing?" The door creaked open. "Welcome, welcome," said a voice that sounded slightly frazzled and exasperated. Okay, I need to revise that then. "Welcome, welcome," said a voice that sounded slightly frazzled and exasperated. 9's ears pricked up and her heart skipped a beat, but she didn't know why. Before she had time to think about it, Flabbergast ushered them in towards a wooden honesty box that hovered in the air in front of them. "Allow me to demonstrate," said Flabbergast, holding up his coin. He looked at 9. "No arguing," he repeated, then dropped his coin into the honesty box. "Good grief," said the box as the coin slot moved like a mouth. "Look at the state of you. No magic. Better start at that beginning again. You seriously need to sort your life out, mate. Flabbergast bit his tongue. I'm working on it, he hissed. If we could skip the counselling and just move swiftly onto the book recommendation, please. Wizardry for complete beginners who are utterly terrible and awful and... Okay, I get the message, thanks very much, said Flabbergast. By Alignant, the inexperienced. Nine couldn't help a little snort, but Flabbergast huffed very loudly. Thank you so very much, he said in a very clipped voice. Eric dropped his coin in the box next. Your pancakes are terrible, mate, said the box, its coin slot poking out a tongue. Absolutely terrible. Nine glared at the honesty box as Eric's face fell. Oi, she said. Don't you worry, mate. I'm here to help. I can recommend the perfect book for you. Brand new, published only last week. Perfect Pancakes by Priscilla the Immaculate. Eric's face lit up. Eric, pancakes. Nice pancakes. Kaz dropped her coin in the slot and pushed her hat back to glare at the box. And don't be telling me that I'm too short, or so help me, I'll knock your block off. Oh no, it's not that. You need to relax, mate. You're way too uptight. Try a bubble bath. A bubble? I recommend Relaxation for Unsuccessful or Retired Gargoyles by Scarbarella, the annoyingly unflappable. I ain't unsuccessful or retired. I'm just currently unemployed. Just get the book, growled the honesty box, as Flabbergast then grabbed Kaz's arm and pulled her away. Nine looked around nervously as Bonehead dropped in his coin. Still no sign of Ophelia. Oh, for goodness sake, said the honesty box. Look at you, your slumped shoulders. Come on, mate, stand up straight. You'll put your hip bone out. Bonehead suddenly straightened up, jiggled rather guiltily. It's not easy, you know. I've been dead for years. Not that anyone cares. Positive Thinking for Brainless Skeletons by Agnes the Twice Undead. Next! Nine stood in front of the box, dropped in her coin, and raised a defiant eyebrow. I was going to try and do it, but I'm going to... Not a word, remember? Oh, not a word, remember? Called Flabbergast from nearby. We don't have time, madam. We need to hurry and find our books. No arguing. Go on then, said Nine, narrowing her eyes at the honesty box and folding her arms. The honesty box tutted. You, mate, need to be more like me. What? Said Nine, frowning. What do you mean? Honest. Nine's eyes widened and she glanced over at the others in alarm. They looked back, confused. Knew it, said the honesty box with a condescending sigh. Got guilt written all over your face, mate. What have you done? Stolen something? Told a lie? His voice dropped to a whisper. Betrayed someone? Nine could feel her cheeks flushing, her chest tightening. Shut up, she hissed urgently. I've done nothing. Aha! There you go again. Lies, lies, more lies. Shut up, said Nine. Just give me my book recommendation, please. Flabbergast marched over, frowning. Madam, what in the name of strawberry tea is going on here? Nothing, Nine said, refusing to look at him in the eye. She's lying, whispered the honesty box. About what? Demanded Flabbergast. Ooh, said the box. I'd say pretty much everything. Now look here, said Flabbergast. We're in a rush. You've had your payment, spoken your mind. Now give my friend the book recommendation. My friend. The words were precious and beautiful, but instead of warming Nine's heart, they broke it. Friends didn't betray friends. If only he knew. Book recommendation, said the honesty box, is The Mystery of Wolver Moor by Horatio Pidderwick. The honesty box gasped. What? I didn't mean to say that. No, that book can't be right. You need to learn to tell the truth. I recommend to you... It made a strange gurgling sound, as if it was fighting with its own tongue. The Mystery of Wolver Moor, said it in a defeated and miserable voice. Of all the books, it has recommended one from my own world, murmured Flabbergast. Shopkeeper cast the spell to accurately recommend the perfect book for each customer. Even the honesty box, with its overrated and highly inaccurate opinions, cannot overrule that. I heard that, said the honesty box. I don't need that book. I've already got that book, 9 retorted. Buy another copy, growled the honesty box. Flabbergast pulled her away. Just do as it says. It cannot help but be honest, madam, and as much as I hate to admit it, the recommendations are usually rather, beneficial. Make haste, madam. He gave 9 a strange look, full of confusion and hurt. 9's heart burned. Thief. Liar. Traitor. Then Flabbergast looked away. We must find our books before Ophelia comes. We will not want to be battling both her and the bookshop at the same time. Battling the bookshop? Fear not, madam. You'll get the hang of it. 9 looked around as she went. Bundles of books crammed into every corner on shelves dangling from the ceiling, and somewhere here was something secret, something hidden and left by her ma. She didn't have the foggiest clue where to start looking. How could you look for something when you didn't know what you were looking for? They passed Eric, who had trundled off towards the right-hand side of the shop, where a sign hanging from the wonky beaming ceiling said, Cookery. Eric, book, he mumbled to himself. He wrung his tail nervously as he scanned the shelves. You don't want pancakes, insisted a voice. Biscuits, you want biscuits, the best biscuits in the realms. Eric, pancake, mumbled Eric, not sounding very convincing. Stew, he wants stew, came another voice. Buy me, buy me. No, he wants pancakes, called a third. 9 stared in amazement as suddenly several books leapt from the cookery shelves. Here we go, Flabbergast sighed. Then he called to Eric. Don't give in. It has to be the pancake book. You can do it. 9 gulped as some of the books seemed to be involved in a physical fight with each other in the air, frantically flapping over covers and pages at each other, over menacingly. Then a plate of biscuits appeared right under Eric's nose. His eyes widened, and he clasped his hands over his mouth and shook his head. 9 could actually smell the biscuits, freshly baked. Her mouth watered. Can I get one? She said to Flabbergast. Just one? Certainly not, said Flabbergast. You'll only encourage them. The sales spells was meant to help the books showcase themselves, but it's all gone dangerously wrong. The books simply do not stop. He pulled 9 further into the shop. Pancakes! He yelled to Eric. 9 looked over her shoulder as a large bowl of stew and ladle appeared from absolutely nowhere. See? Try it! Try it! Shouted the stew book, as the ladle plunged into the stew and emptied itself over Eric's head. Pancakes! Oh, that was Eric's voice. Pancakes! Flabbergast yelled over his shoulder as he dragged 9 onwards. But she stopped and looked in amazement to see the whole shop exploding with frantic activity. Books flapping, flying, yelling. Different items were popping out of nowhere, desperately showcasing the content of their books. Bonehead clattered by in his fluffy socks at an incredible speed. I'm doomed, he yelled as he sprinted past, chased by about half a dozen positive thinking books lying on their side, frantically snapping themselves open and shut like vicious jaws, bellowing words of encouragement to him. Say to yourself, I'm beautiful, now buy me. If you tell yourself you can do it, another shouted over the din. You can do it, you hear me? You can do it, you can do it. Help, wailed Bonehead, as his bony legs darted up the spiralling staircase to the next floor, with a deadly army of positive books snapping at his skull and encouraging him all the way. Get that out of your mouth, Flabbergast yelled, pointing at Eric. The troll spun round, his mouth hastily closing around what appeared to be a double chocolate muffin, and his wide yellow eyes shifting guiltily from side to side. Pancakes! 9 stared. Oh my days, this is absolute chaos. There was a sudden splashing sound as Cascadia came whooshing by on a flood of lavender-scented bubbles, which carried her across the shop floor, surrounded by several books. The warm water beneath the bubbles rushed around their knees. I can't swim, wailed Kaz, as she was swept along, clutching her hat in one hand. Worrying solves nothing, said one of the books, in a soothing voice. Just breathe in. Ah, said Kaz, as she crashed into a wobbly, ceiling-high pile of books and brought the whole astronomy section crashing down. Stars and planets darted out of the books and twirled around her head as the water and bubbles seeped away. And breathe out, continued the book dreamily, giving a blissful sigh. The wizard pulled Nine towards a narrow wooden staircase in the back corner of the bookshop. Now, madam, said Flabbergast, the mortal section is down there, in the very bowels of the bookshop. Charming. Are you ready? Nine nodded, wondering what battle she was about to face, but she took a deep breath, and down there she went. And that takes us to chapter 17.